The road to success for Hawaii's most successful women leaders is more than just the bottom line. It takes vision, passion, and compassion. We take an inside look at extraordinary founders and visionaries from humble beginnings who forged a path and transformed the way Hawaii does business. Join us as we meet inspiring CEOs on Founders and Visionaries next. Founders and Visionaries is brought to you by Hawaii Business Magazine.
Just about everyone has a mobile phone today. How do you reach them? MilanMarketplace.com is a new way to boost your sales and make business visible within the top mobile apps in Hawaii. Drive sales with targeted messages by instantly reaching shoppers in close proximity of your business. Multiple locations? Easily create and change custom promotions for each location. Pay only for consumers who respond to your promotions. Don't get left behind. Register your business at MilanMarketplace.com today.
The Pacific Asian Center for Entrepreneurship at UH presents Talk Story with 3 successful Hilo-born entrepreneurs. Alan Nikawa of Big Island Candies, Dwayne Karisu of AIO, and Barry Taniguchi of KTA Superstores. Join us at the Ala Moana Hotel on November 30th at 5 p.m. Register online today.
This segment of Founders and Visionaries is brought to you by DeLhomme Properties. Wow, this is gorgeous.
It's nice.
Yeah. Now, how many square feet?
3,104 square feet, plus the decks and the garage and an observation deck down below.
Incredible. Wow, this view is incredible. So tell me about your history here on the Big Island, how you ended up here and how you ended up at this place in your life.
I've been here over 30 years in Hilo, and I love Hilo. Hilo's, to me, the best place to live and the best place to be in business. We don't make as much money as we would elsewhere, but it's a quality of life.
And what are the things about the quality of life here that you treasure?
Well, as you did see that traffic jam on your way in.
All 12 cars.
All 12 cars. I know they do upset me every morning, but I try to live with that stress. You know, that's the kind of thing is that I look at that on the TV and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, look at that traffic. I would go crazy. Why would you want to live in that? Lots of people live now in the Hilo area because you can get so much house and so much goodness and so much quality of life and commute once a week back to Oahu or even daily. Some people's commutes are shorter on an airplane than if they have to drive in. So Hilo to me is the best place to live.
You've ridden a lot of ups and downs in the trends in real estate over your 27 years. And what do you think has enabled you to stay successful through all that?
You know, that's the best part about it. Sales are always happening. People are always buying homes. It's just a matter of what price, therefore what commission does the sales agent and the office get out of that, helping and assisting with that. We're there to assist. We're there to help. It's not a matter of just making the money. And when your reputation is based on service, that's why we're there. And I think service is the secret. I have Coldwell Banker, DeLhomme Properties, and they just do sales. And then DeLhomme Rentals and Management does management only, not sales. And the management always helps, being diversified, helps you roll those waves, you know, up and down. And then because of the management, there really is no secret. It's just work hard. Other people come into the business and they want to be bigger than me and better than me. Hey, no secret. You work really hard. You give up a lot of personal life. So it's not really a matter of all the fun times, it's a matter of those tough times and deciding that it's all the no's that you can handle too. You lose accounts, but you win accounts, you know, and just hard work. And I also very clearly know that I don't know everything. So I'm always willing to say, okay, sometimes I am stupid. Teach me, show me, let me know, and then I will know that much more moving forward. So
owning your own business isn't always as glamorous as it may seem, even with the accolades that come with it, huh? Yeah.
a lot of hard work, and again, it's all of those no's. You have to make those decisions between spending time with your family or taking care of the client. Having employees, when you notch up to that level, it adds a whole new element to the workload. But I enjoy it, and I'm thrilled because years ago, I really thought when the economy was bad, 15 years ago, I thought of closing down, and because I thought I'll get a job and I'll probably make as much money. Somewhere in that time frame, I refinanced the house to make payroll, and you go, what's wrong with that picture, So, but I thought about it, and I thought, my employees won't find a job. It's a tough time. And I thought, wow, I just have to work harder so that I can make sure and keep a job that's not a great pay, but at least it's a job and they can survive with.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Compare to us the real estate market in Hilo or Big Island versus Oahu. You can still get some really great deals over here, right?
Fabulous, fabulous deals. Real estate's actually booming pretty good over here. Right now, prices in Hilo area, and I'm saying within 30 minutes of being in downtown Hilo, you could buy a fabulous 3-bedroom, 2-bath, family room house on at least half an acre for under $200,000. So you can buy a house now in East Hawaii for less money than Oahu, even on Kona, anywhere else, Waimea. It's a great investment.
It's a great place if you have animals or want to have animals too, because you can get acreage with your property.
Yes.
Tell us about this property we're at.
This is a really special house. It is only 16 years old, but it was built here on Reed's Island, which has lots of long-time history. But this fabulous house has great views, decks overlooking this beautiful river. It feels like you're in the middle of hundreds of acres with only one neighbor, so you would never think that you're right in downtown. In Hilo, it's a really, really upscale home and pricey for Hilo at $1.29 million. But for Oahu, this would be a real buy. So I'm hoping somebody over there says, let's live in Hilo in this gorgeous mansion almost, and we can once in a while go visit family and friends on Oahu. So
it's easy to fall in love with this house. It's incredible.
Yes. Actually, because with the Shipman house here, and the fact that obviously even 100 years ago, families and people recognized that this was the best place to be. And we have some other homes that are in this price range, but with acreage north of town, we have another beautiful home right now. But typically our houses are going to be closer to around 200 to 300,000. We have some great homes, and that could be, like I said, anywhere within about 30 minutes of Hilo area. Small business, I think, is dependent on people giving 150% all the time.
And you say that, and you have a really strong work ethic, but you also have a strong sense of quality of life for your staff, too.
Yeah. And so when their kids are sick, or it's the May Day festival, or even their cat has the vet appointment, I let them off to take care of those important items. So, quality of life.
Yeah, and usually you find if you make those adjustments for your staff, they're going to work harder for you in the end.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
You are often recognized in the business world for your accomplishments. How does that make you feel?
I'm thrilled because many times I'm the only one from Hilo that's recognized, so I'm not quite sure if it's because I put my name out there and I'm fairly bold, or
not
shy me. So it's sort of that, but I think Hilo needs to be more recognized, and I'm thrilled that I can say, hey, Hilo has businesses, we're doing things, we're succeeding in business in Hilo.
We see a world where we who have kokua those who have less. Imagine food that's healthy, food that does no harm to the environment. Imagine food that's affordable and accessible, food that harnesses local entrepreneurship. Imagine food that brings together families and communities in ways that will nourish the Wahine, Feed the Hunger Foundation, microfinancing toward innovative and sustainable solutions.
The Pacific Asian Center for Entrepreneurship at UH presents Talk Story with 3 successful Hilo-born entrepreneurs. Alan Nakawa of Big Island Candies, Dwayne Karisu of AIO, and Barry Taniguchi of KTA Superstores. Join us at the Ala Moana Hotel on November 30th at 5 p.m. Register online today.
This segment of Founders and Visionaries is brought to you by Pacific Home. Located on Ward Avenue in Honolulu, Pacific Home is under new ownership. Eden Nunnery fell in love with the islands years ago and searched for a reason to move back home.
One of the most exciting things about this business is I really have an appreciation for everything in the store. I mean, I grew up with no electricity, no indoor plumbing, really modest beginnings. So everything that's come into my life just really feels like such a blessing. I really appreciate this beautiful environment that I get to come and work in every day. But it was a long time in coming. We've really invested ourselves. We really believe in the business. We really believe in passing on that feeling of value and that feeling of support to our customers. We may not have the most least expensive things, so we pride ourselves on carrying things that will last a lifetime, not just transitional for a year or two and then it's a throwaway. People work very hard for their money. I don't want them to come in here and feel like they're not spending that money well. I know what it feels like to work really hard for something, so I want them to love everything they walk out of the store with. The business kind of found us. I would not have known 10 years ago that this is what I would be doing, but now that I'm doing it, I can't imagine doing anything else. This business was founded by 3 amazing women. When we came across it and found out that it was for sale, we were ecstatic. Pacific Home has allowed me to come back to Hawaii. It's allowed my husband and I to find a place for our son and to find a business that is a great fit for us and a wonderful place for us to spend our days. We've been traveling the world for a decade, looking for our place to be, looking for a place where we wanted to raise our family. When we were looking for what we wanted to do, it wasn't so much about the exact business. It was about the whole concept of the business, how it felt to be there, what it was offering to the community, what type of environment it was. I mean, this is where we spend our days. When we found this, it felt like the right opportunity. It was, to us, a very, very lucky find. I worked in an industry for a very long time where the bottom line, the financials of the business were the most important thing to the people that were working in it. I think what it taught me is that that's absolutely not true. That is not the way to create something that you feel really good about. It's not the way to create a legacy. Creating a legacy, having a successful business is about people really remembering what it was that you were offering in a positive way. This is an intimate thing. These things are going into people's homes. I'm helping them create something, and that means a lot to me. I want this space to be not just a business. I want this to be a place where everyone enjoys working, where people enjoy coming, and where they can walk in the door and they feel at home. That's the whole point. I'm not here just to have people work for me and vice versa. We're all really here to support each other, and I think that that's important. You have to remember that it's okay to take time, and sometimes you make sacrifices for that, but it's balance. And I know that might sound a little bit cliche. Everyone's always talking about balance, but it's the truth. It really is the truth. Your business can't own you. You know how they say ignorance is bliss? I think that has kept me from being fearful. One of the things that can stand in your way the most is being afraid to take chances. I've learned not to be afraid to take chances. It hasn't always worked out, but for the most part, it's taken me to places I never would have imagined I would have gone. So this was me just kind of stepping off the edge and taking a shot, going off my gut. There was a feeling that was evoked from me when I walked through the front door. It's the way that the environment is designed, and it's the way that we will always try to continue to design this environment. You walk in the door and you feel like you're home. I loved that. I could imagine being here every day. And I think if you're going to spend your days away from your family, if you're going to spend your days investing yourself, then you should be that ecstatic about your environment. And I was immediately. And this is not just my vision. This is not any one person's vision. There are a lot of women here that contribute to the look of this store and the feel of this store. We will continue to always search out unique items from all over the world, items that are ecologically conscious. That's a very big part of the store. And just always trying to keep it fresh and current. That's the most important thing. You have to change with the times, and things are constantly changing. Life is dynamic, so we always want the store to feel fresh and new. So probably what we're most known for are slip-covered and upholstered pieces. This is a company called Mitchell Gold Bob Williams. They are one of the premier makers of furniture in the world. This is the Dr. Pit. It's modular. You can build it as big as small as you want. Everything is removable and washable. That's part of what we want to always promote in the store, that this furniture is really livable. This is a company that we really love. Love the Pit because you can fill it up with all of these. These are custom designed by my designer, Allison Fetzer. This is the best and fastest way to change the face of your space. Color, patterns, textures, a new feeling, and all it takes is a pillow. Things I tell people the most, you get people who come in and they say to me, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to make my house look the way that I want. I know what I like, but I don't know how to put it together. But what I tell people is that more often than not, you actually have a better sense of it than you think. We just get caught up in doing what we think should be done instead of doing what feels really comfortable. And when people relax and they just start picking things off of what feels best to them, they always create something beautiful. You just have to relax and realize there aren't really any rules. And you'd be surprised at what you can put together, and it looks absolutely incredible. It doesn't have to be a set. They don't have to match. Your pieces should have character. You should create a space that feels comfortable to you. There are no rules. And that's part of the fun of the store. I mean, when you have this type of look, I can add and take away all the time, and it all goes together in an organized, chaotic kind of way. And it's not only just beautiful, but it's really livable. I mean, my 3-year-old can pretty much use any table in this store and I'll never know it. And that's hard to do. One of the things I love about what's happening in the industry right now is the focus on reclaimed materials, sustainable practices. You're getting furniture now that is more about bringing the outside in, and to me that's what Hawaii is. We should be bringing that outside environment into our home. The nature, the color, the feeling. And if you look at a table like this wood is hundreds of years old. It was reclaimed. There's a warm, worn finish to it. There's something really comforting about having that as a centerpiece in your home. The industry is actually taking notice of what's going on in the world right now, and it's evolving to meet those standards. Everybody here is totally incredible and very invested and very passionate about what they do. So what we want when you walk out the door is that you're a little bit surprised. Wow, that was really fun. I enjoyed that. This doesn't have to be a chore. You know, making your space, it's the place where you're supposed to go unwind from the world. When that space is created, that's how we want you to feel, that we really created your Pacific home. You know, we helped you create that lifestyle that you're looking for.
If you've ever wondered how much it takes to turn a life around, now you know. With more local families turning to Loja United Way, we're turning to you. This year, please give. This segment of Founders and Visionaries is brought to you by Sterling and Tucker.
When you think of great leaders or founders or visionaries, they all share one trait in common, and that's courage. And sometimes that courage means having the courage to change careers midlife to follow your heart's work. So this year you celebrate your 20th year of working together, but it's also special that we're doing this because when your business first got started, you were featured in Hawaii Business Magazine, and now here you are being featured again.
That's right. They came and featured us as a one-stop shop, and it was just us and a couple people. And now, 20 years later, here we are, actually having successfully transitioned a major part of our business to a younger generation. We feel very accomplished in that way. It's like having a little baby. We have our own children. That's another thing we did all these years, is raise families and watched all these other employees raise their families too. You know, it looks like one business, but it's really three. So you have the law firm doing estate planning, and you have the CPA firm doing the tax aspects of the estate planning, and the investment advisory firm doing the financial planning and investment advice. From a practical standpoint, you know, we started out as CPAs, and one of the things people want to know is, should I incorporate my business? Should I be a sole proprietor, a partnership? And so they're asking us these things, and then even if we had an answer for it from a tax standpoint, we couldn't actually help implement it. And so that's, I think, the first reason why law became such an intriguing add-on to the CPA, so we could go the next step. And how do you minimize taxes when you pass away? Well, you have to do a trust, but if not a lawyer, you can't do that. You can only tell them to go somewhere. And it just continued from there. I think for me, it wasn't so much the drive to build a business as it was a need to take care of my kids. I would never have worked this hard if I didn't have 4 mouths to feed. It's ironic, huh? That caring for somebody you love is...
So for any business to stay successful and in operation for 2 decades, it takes a lot of business savvy and strategy along the way too. So how have you survived the ups and downs and ins and outs of the last 20 years?
Well, in part we've been fortunate because of the field we're in. I mean, estate planning, everybody, if they recognize it, has issues there. You know, you've got issues of who do you want to leave your property to? How do you leave the property to them? How do you marshal the assets while you're alive so that you can live comfortably? How do you do retirement planning? I mean, the kinds of things we deal with are so close to the heart of everybody that regardless of the economic situation, people need help with these issues. I think there has to be a basic sense that you really care about the people you're working with. It's not the money, it's not fame, it's just working with people and somehow being able to sit down and engage individuals and families and guide them in what's very important to them in terms of their finances, their decisions of how to leave a legacy. That became something that made me feel very good about what I'm doing.
It's a wonderful, wonderful career. We, deliberately set about building a practice that we could transition to another generation. And that requires that you sacrifice your own individuality for the sake of, uniformity.
Let's talk a little bit about how all this knowledge and guidance that you impart to others has actually come into use and had value for you in your own personal life.
Well, personally, about 3.5 years ago, I suffered a series of mini strokes in very quick succession, and everybody was totally unprepared. There was no history of stroke in my family, and when it happened, I was here one day, And the next day I was in real trouble. Well, we had our plan, and it's a good thing, because if we hadn't, it would have been a terrible mess.
It's like a plane, you know, flying through the air and one engine stops.
Yes.
It's and it happened just like that.
But they came through. The whole practice came through.
But unfortunately, it's never going to be the same.
Yeah. One thing we learned was, and for other people, is get your papers in order, because just know where they are. Children, wives or husbands who say, oh, he takes care of everything, I don't want to think about it, should do some thinking and should know at least some bare bones information so that they're not totally lost when there's a crisis.
Yeah, you have to educate your family. And children, at some point, they need to be informed about your finances. I know it's a sensitive subject. Children don't really want to ask. And yet there has to be a moment in time when you say, I think it's time to share. Because if you wait until you're gone, your family's going to suffer.
Or if you wait until there's a crisis and you're not gone, but
it's even worse.
Then it's really a misery.
Children who have aging parents, how do they initiate that discussion if they think that their parents haven't taken the steps they need to plan for the future?
What we find surprising is how actually it works the other way around. The parents want to disclose the information and the children don't want to hear it. It's not going to happen, it's going to be okay. They don't want to face the reality, and it's for their parents. Their parents will be relieved if they know that they're in good hands. So don't feel like you're being greedy about money by accepting your parents' invitation to find out what's going on. It's not out of self-interest, it's out of caring both ways. Your parents care about you, and you can express your care for them by actually taking the time to listen.
One of the things that we do as a firm is we have a lot of public seminars, and that's a good way to start. And that breaks the ice for a lot of people. It's non-threatening because they don't have to worry about they're going to sit down with an attorney who's going to shove something down their throat. They have this opportunity to listen, and we find that a lot of our clients like that approach to bringing a child in the fold or bringing a parent in the fold.
Beyond the work that we do in the office, it's very important to me that we help out in the community, and one way that we do that is to serve as treasurer on different boards, because oftentimes they don't have the resources to pay for that.